Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Let's see, we got another hot one for y'all. You see what I'm saying? I got my studious friend, my cousin Daniel. He coming on right now. You know what I mean? Y'all know him, y'all love him. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get down with this. We're gonna get down with the get down. Daniel, can you hear me?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, man, I was just hyping you up and stuff. You feel me?
Appreciate it.
Listen, man, welcome back. First of all, the fans missed you. You see what I'm saying? Listen, when you ain't here, man, I love you to death and I like you. I get kind of tired of hearing your name so much when you ain't here. You know what I'm saying? Like you understand where I'm at? It's not a hating thing.
Mhm.
It's just like, well, this is kind of my show. So you know what I mean? But that's what it is. You know, you incite riots and stuff when you come. You know what I'm saying?
How you been?
I'm doing good, man. You know what I mean? It's a long night already, but I always got time for you, brother. All right. So, with today's episode, we're gonna talk about the week 7 games. There's a bunch of games that was crazy, and then we're gonna talk about the week 8 games, and then we're gonna talk about the top 5 MVP candidates that you got. You know what I mean? No
Okay.
particular order. No particular order. Either way, let's start with and on the list I got Lions and Vikings, which was a really crazy game. First of all, um. Yeah, there we go. So the Lions beat the Vikings 31-29. Let's see what happened here. So Sam Darnold was 22 of 27, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. I do also want to say I think it's very weird that we're talking about Sam Darnold right now. Like this is like a different
That
universe.
he's
You
that
know what I'm
he's
saying?
redone his career. Yeah.
What is going on here? Whatever. Aaron Jones had 14 carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 7 receptions, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. Then we'll go over to the Lions. Jared Goff. He was 22 of 25 for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jameer Gibbs, 15 carries, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amron, he had 8 receptions for 112 and a touchdown. And Khalif Raymond also had a touchdown. So what happened with this wild game? The Lions was up big, then Vikings came back. I thought the game was over, to be honest with you. Then the Vikings came back, and then they actually won on what was the last second field goal.
Yeah.
So what happened in this game?
And unfortunately for my team in this division, you have two very evenly matched teams,
Yeah.
stacked at running back, at wide receiver. Defenses are playing lights out right now. Great offensive line and decent quarterbacks, decent enough that it makes the team look good. Because if you're Jared Goff or Sam Darnold, you don't got to do much.
Hmm.
You're Jared Goff, get the ball in Jameer Gibbs' hands, get the ball in Amon's hands,
Hmm.
or Williams' hands, or Montgomery's hands.
Right,
Just
right,
don't
right,
turn the
right.
ball over. And the same thing on the other side. Sam Darnold, throw it to Justin Jefferson, throw it to Addison, hand it off to Jones in the backfield. Like, very evenly matched game. And that's why it came down to a 3 point, to a field goal for a 2 point win. Yeah, I
Right.
mean, this was literally a game where like a ball bounces a certain way and the Vikings win and they're still undefeated.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was that razor thin of a margin.
So like this game in this division is still up in the air. Like honestly, the Vikings and Lions are kind of carbon copies of each other. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm just not prepared for the Vikings to be as good as they actually are. I was saying in the stories earlier. I was like, the Vikings really are the real deal, yo. Like I don't know how else to say it, but I was prepared. I actually called when the Lions really got good. But I do want to shout out the Lions for giving the blueprint and showing the blueprint of what it looked like to be successful in the NFL when your quarterback isn't a top 5 quarterback and what that looks like, because it's pretty much everything that I've said and everything. You know what I mean? Jared Goff is not getting paid top of the league money. He has a whole lot of talent around him, and they run the ball a lot. You
He
know,
just has to. He's given the keys to a very nice car, and they're like, just don't crash, man. You know what I mean? Like, just don't crash the car. That's all you got to do.
That's actually a very interesting metaphor considering they came from Detroit and that used to be the Motor City. So there's
I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah, I don't even know if you planned that, but that was dope what happened there. You see, this is why you come here. You see? But yeah, like the only thing bad I got to say about the Vikings, I mean not the Vikings, the Lions is with Aiden Hutchinson going out, I do think that's gonna hurt them in the long term at some
In
point.
the long term, absolutely. Right. In one game, no. In those close games in that December, January time, absolutely.
Right. Right. Um, all right, cool. Well, let's keep going. Well, this one I thought was gonna be closer, but the Seahawks put belt the ass to the Falcons. Um they actually won 34-14 in Atlanta. Let's see what happened here. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. Kirk Cousins was 24 of 35, 232, one touchdown, two picks. That'll do it. Bijan,
And a fumble.
and he had a fumble too.
And a fumble.
There it is. Bijan was 21 carries, 103 yards, one touchdown. Kyle Pitts and Drake London both had about 65 yards receiving, but Drake London actually had a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then Gino was 18 and 28, 207 yards, two touchdowns. Um, let's see. Kenneth Walker had 69 yards rushing and a touchdown. DK had 99 yards receiving on just four receptions and a touchdown. And Kenneth Walker also had a touchdown receiving. Talk to me. What happened? What happened? The Falcons was looking so good just last week.
It was a 10-point game. It was 24-14. Falcons were driving, and then Kirk Cousins forgot how to play football.
That's not the first time that's happened.
He fumbled it for a touchdown, like they scooped and scored,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next two possessions were picks.
Mm-hmm.
So off the turnovers alone, they got those 10 points that made it that 34-14. That made it look like much more of a beating than it would have been. There was, I mean, literally that. Like it was a 10-point game, third quarter. They got the ball. It's like, okay, get some points. You can get to a one possession game.
Mm-hmm.
Fumble, touchdown, pick, field goal, pick. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was it. That was a game.
Yeah, see, I think the Falcons, just like in the NFC South, I think the NFC South has kind of cooled out, and now we kind of we've seen who they are at their best and at their worst, and they're going to be both of those things at different points of the year. Like I think the Saints have looked terrible. I think there's a point where they're going to look great again. They did look great for a period of time. You know what I mean? And
Started off the year great, and then yeah,
yeah. And I think the Falcons are pretty much going to are going to do that. So I'm not worried about this loss for the Falcons. Um, I did, however, think that they were better in the trenches than this game. Like the Seahawks, I feel like to beat the Seahawks, you beat them in the trenches. You know what I mean? They have a lot of weapons. The defense is decent, but even their like defensive line and linebacker core isn't really great. You know what I mean? So I thought that my thought in going into this game was the Falcons were going to win because of that. You know what I mean? But no, just like you said, some of them forgot how to play football. And actually, I wanted to talk to you. So, like for me, I'd rather. So I was having Jamal was on last week, so you know a lot of nonsense got spewed. So you know a lot of nonsense. So we're having a conversation, and I said there's he was talking about CD Lamb, and I said, well, the thing that I don't like about CD Lamb is he might have a game where 11 receptions, 150 yards, but he'll only have one touchdown. And I like wide receivers that like at like 5 or 6 receptions, a touchdown, like you have to not let them get 5 receptions because the touchdown's probably gonna go up. CD Lamb's not like that. And I like actually DK Metcalf, like I'm not saying I like him more specifically than CeeDee Lamb, but a guy like DK, like he had 4 receptions, 99 yards and a touchdown. That's scarier to me than 11 receptions for 150 yards and one touchdown.
I don't know. I feel like if he probably lean the other way. I see what you mean. You know, more it feels like more production on a shorter catches,
Well, the point
full catch.
the point that I'm making is if somebody touches the ball 4 times and one of those four is probably going 4 or 5 times, one of those four is going for a touchdown, which means if they get 8 receptions, that's probably 2 touchdowns. So for a wide receiver like that I would consider great, that's getting like 11 receptions, like even go back to like Brandon Marshall, who never even went to the playoffs. If he got 11 receptions ahead of 150 yards, he had 3 touchdowns.
Okay, yeah, I see what you
And
mean.
that's what I'm saying. So on average, per reception, I'm more scared of when somebody else touches the ball than like a CeeDee Lamb. And when you get into the red zone, I think that's why his touchdowns come down because he's less effective there. And the receivers that I need to be like top of the league receivers, I need them to be scary in the red zone.
Yeah, DK is definitely a jump ball guy in the red zone for sure.
So that's kind of how I always feel. You know what I mean? So that's here nor there. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Texans and Packers, which honestly was kind of the game of the week this week.
It was a wild game.
Um, so the Packers held it down at home and beat the Houston Texans, gave them their second loss of the season. They won 24-22. CJ Stroud was 10 of 21 for 86 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Joe Mixon had 115 yards rushing, uh, 2 touchdowns.
Tutties.
Yeah. Receiving, it really wasn't much there, but Dalton Schultz. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dalton Schultz. He had one reception for 28 yards, and that was what led them in receiving, just to put
Yeah,
that out there. Um, and Jordan Love, he was 24 of 33, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Josh Jacobs, he had 76 yards rushing. Um, Romeo Dobbs led them receiving with 94 yards, but he didn't have a touchdown. But the touchdowns did go to uh, Dontavion Wicks, Tucker Craft, and Josh Jacobs. They had the receiving touchdown. And actually, it was Josh Jacobs' first receiving touchdown of his career.
right.
I thought that was pretty interesting. So, what do you think about this game? What does it mean going forward for both of these teams?
One, I think CJ Stroud is having a come back to earth kind of season
You think so?
after
I
such
mean,
a.
they 5-2. I mean, it ain't like I mean.
I'm not saying the world is falling apart because he lost the game, but I'm saying he hasn't had a game like this in his very young
86
career.
yards. Yeah, that's a rare
In his
game
very
to see
young
those numbers.
career, he has
Yeah.
never, even in game one of his career, he's never had a game like this.
No, no.
And when you go up against a top tier defense like the Packers, that exposes you a little bit.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the Houston's going to be fine. They're probably winning the division. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'm not concerned about Houston. As far as the Packers, just like with my Bears, they're living in the most dominant division right now, where they got to get wins wherever they can. So this
Hmm.
was like, in my opinion, is a must win.
Why do you say this was a must win?
Right now in that division in the NFC North, you can't afford a loss.
Okay. Okay.
That division is too good. It is too stacked. You probably got three teams in that division going to the playoffs, four if possible.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay. Okay. I was just actually looking up defensive rankings right now just to see where Green Bay falls. You know what I mean? Because I had a point in my head. I just wanted to, before I'm working on this whole foot in the mouth thing. You know what I mean? So before I just start saying something, I'd like to at least get some information over it. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. So the Packers actually defensively, I think they have I don't want to say they've overachieved. They're better than what they look like on paper. Um
They're top 15 defense.
they're top 15 defense. And in terms of points, though, they're keeping points down. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 10th in terms of points. So this defense, I'm very curious to see in terms of now I'm looking on ESPN.com. So I'm not seeing right now, like where they are in terms of turnovers and blah 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 blah. I'd have to take more time with that. But to me, this game for me is this showcases the Packers as an NFC Championship threat, a real threat, and a potential, and one of the teams that I'm looking at and saying, oh, that team might come out of the NFC. I think they have more of the platform, or how their roster is constructed to beat a team and overachieve. Um, this game it showed it. So even I know that CJ Stroud didn't have his best game, but even coming into this game, I looked at the Texans and said they're on the road. Nico Collins is hurt. They got to run the ball. They effectively did that game plan, and somehow that defense was able to make it harder for CJ Stroud and that offense. You know what I mean? So if that offense is doing that, if that defense is doing that, I love how their offense is constructed in terms of running back is a big name running back. Where they run the ball more, fast quarterback. I mean, who's one of the some people can argue top five quarterbacks, and a wide receiver core that says, I don't have to get the ball to someone to beat you. It's whatever's open, I'm going to take it, and I'm fine with
Yeah.
it. So I love how their offense is constructed. Like, honestly, defensively, if they can make it harder with a game plan that's supposed to be effective against them, if they can still hold it together in a situation like that, man, hey man, we might be we might be talking about the NFC representative in the Super Bowl right now. Because it don't look like
I
it's the
guess
49ers right now.
listen, we'll get on to them in a minute. But yes, the NFC North is stacked.
Uh, okay. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Um, so let's go to the Chiefs and 49ers, which was supposed to be the game of the weekend. This was supposed to be it, but it was not. Of course, the Chiefs doing Chiefs things and making what's supposed to be a dope ass matchup and being like, nah, we're just kind of better than that. So the Chiefs are still undefeated somehow, some way. They're still undefeated, the only undefeated team left. They went into San Francisco and they won 28-18. Um, just getting some quick player stats. Brock Purdy was 17 and 31 for 212 yards, no touchdowns and three picks.
3 picks, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Mason, he had 58 yards rushing, but Brock Purdy actually had two rushing touchdowns. George Kittle led them with six receptions for 92 yards, but they did not have, of course, they didn't have a receiving touchdown. And Pat, he was 16 and 27, 154 yards, also no touchdowns and two picks. So keep that in mind. Kareem Hunt had 78 yards rushing and two touchdowns. Pat also had a rushing touchdown, and McCole Hartman also had a rushing touchdown. So what do you what do you think? Like, I want, matter of fact, before I want to go interview style on this one. We going because I like to be versatile. Are the 49ers figured out right now?
Not necessarily. They're just all hurt. Everybody's
Okay.
hurt.
Okay.
Brandon Ayuk is out for the year now. McCaffrey ain't played a game. Debo was out. Um, the left tackle, they're all all pro left tackle got kicked out the game in the first quarter.
Okay.
Um, Purdy is not that guy without those pieces. It's similar to a Jared Goff and a Sam Darnold,
Mm-hmm.
where when your pieces are out there, I mean, think about how they were talking about Purdy last year for MVP and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you
I
got those
remember.
pieces, if I can just jump it off to McCaffrey for 78 yards or
We had this
Debo,
whole conversation. We had this whole conversation.
you know what I mean? Like you look top tier, but like when they're not out there, you look very mediocre. And that's what they look like right now. Even with that defense, that's still a top 10 defense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, you're telling me Brock Purdy has two rushing touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah.
That's who's leading y'all in rushing.
Yes.
That you know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily like they got figured out. It's that their pieces are gone. Ain't
Right.
nobody here.
Okay. So I got a follow-up question. Not a follow-up question, a different question. Are the Chiefs going to go undefeated, and are they going to three-peat this year? And is anybody going to get in the way of this?
Right now, it feels like the Chiefs are just playing with their food because you got a top 10 defense that's playing like with somebody like Chris Jones on the interior playing lights out.
Mm-hmm.
But you have
Oh, he's the
Mahomes on the
best.
other
He's the
side.
best. I think he's is Chris Jones the best defensive lineman in football.
Since Aaron Donald retired, yeah.
See, I always thought that like that was a closer gap than it seemed with Aaron Donald and Chris Jones. It seemed like Aaron Donald was
Oh,
just like
I
far and
didn't think
away.
I didn't think it was a massive gap, but Donald was better in my opinion because he demanded triple teams
Right, right,
sometimes.
right, right.
Chris will get a double team here and there, maybe a chip block. Aaron Donald was like you'd have videos of him getting triple team blocked just to be able to get a pass off. So, to me that was like, okay, there's your
Mm-hmm,
difference.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But like the Chiefs, like you said, Mahomes had another two picks. He has more picks and touchdowns this year.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But again, he does just enough, affects the game just enough to get the victories because they're not blowing nobody out.
No.
I mean,
Well,
it's like 10 point,
this was closer to a blowout. You know what I mean? Like this really
28, 28, 18, 10
2018, I
points.
mean
Like,
10 points, but it could have been 17. It could have been 17.
oh yeah, yeah. No, listen, there were plenty of drops, there were picks that shouldn't have been made, but like they're not blowing people out right now. But it feels like they're playing with their food.
Yes, yes.
You know
And
what I'm
it
saying?
kind of
Like
always felt that way with them. And that's the thing. It felt like that's the thing about them. It feels like no matter what's going on, like they're gonna figure out. Like for instance, the Ravens are playing a high enough level and a brand of football that says to me, "Oh, they can beat the Chiefs." I would say that the Ravens are playing better than the Chiefs right now.
absolutely.
Are they going to beat the Chiefs when it comes down to it and they play each other?
When they match up, we don't know. Usually not.
Ha- have they beaten the Chiefs before? Has Lamar Jackson beaten Patrick Mahomes yet?
Once, remember, that's how he made it to his first Super Bowl, but he lost.
No, Lamar never went to the Super Bowl.
Oh wait, he lost that AFC Championship. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
So okay, so he beat him. No, because that doesn't make sense. Because Pat's always been in the AFC Championship game. At least when he started, he's been in the AFC Championship game.
I
So
thought
it
Lamar
wasn't in the
beat him.
playoffs. Either way, the point that I was pretty much making is I have to bet against them every week because it just everything that's been going on with them, it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? They're like everything, like when I look at this game, you're saying, well, Brock Purdy lost a lot of people, which is a valid argument. But I mean, Brock Purdy was on his third, fourth, and fifth wide receiver. Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowls with that. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, like left tackle been out. Patrick Mahomes went to AFC Championship games with his left and right tackle being out. I mean, he lost in the Super Bowl with his left, but that was in the Super Bowl with his left and right tackle being out. You know what I
I mean,
mean?
I
Like
mean,
I understand you lose pieces. I know you lose pieces, but the way that I'm saying this is my problem. This is and I'm actually going against because I'm about to start protesting against the NFL quarterback market and the wide receiver market because I'm tired of them getting all this goddamn money when they don't. You don't give him all this money. Like you do not give Brock Purdy all this money. And you know they're gonna give it to him, right? And then that's
he's
why
getting.
and that's why the 49ers are gonna start to get worse in the next year or two.
Ayuk won't be back till next year. McCaffrey, God knows if he's playing this year. Yeah, they're going to get worse. But I
That's
think
what I'm
you can't
saying.
compare. I don't think you can compare Mahomes to Purdy though, as far as like
Yes. And so you can, if we talk about well, you do understand then Brock Purdy is gonna get paid more than Patrick Mahomes next year. And that's why I can compare them and I can say that's a problem.
yeah. I mean, and the and there's not many good quarterbacks coming out next year, so
If
they're
I'm
going to
right,
have to pay
if
him.
I'm talking, if I'm 29 talking to Brock Purdy, I'm like, listen, you got to sign for about 30 mil. I need you to sign for about 30 mil because I got to keep these pieces for you to be this. And they're not. And they always do this. And the GMs, this is why GMs get fired. And I'm like, well, why do you keep doing it? Like, I would much rather rebuild a little bit and try to get back to give up a whole draft to get to a quarterback and get that again, then overpay for Brock Purdy. And they're going to do it. And watch, they're going to do it.
Yeah, they're gonna pay him.
And that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. But oh, on a side note, I do want to say Lamar. God damn it. With the, I listen, there's one question. So and this is what I was saying this last year at the end of the season too. Listen, Lamar is great. Like, do you understand? Like, it looks easy for him now. But I gotta hold him to the same count. If people looked at Peyton Manning in terms of Tom Brady and saying, well, he's not beating him right now, and he gotta beat. He's got to go there and beat him. And he needs to be like, that's
Well,
it.
that's the thing though. That's Lamar. That's um
But Lamar
Bill's
more than
quarter
anybody. Lamar more than anybody. Lamar gotta go there. And he
more
gotta
so
he gotta
than
put
Josh
special.
Allen. How many times they played the
Yes,
playoffs?
yes, yes. Because Lamar got 2 MVPs. Josh don't got no MVPs. Lamar has 2 MVPs. Yes, he's got to go there and he's got to show special against the Chiefs because you know the Chiefs are going to show special. Absolutely. You know Pat's going to show you special. Lamar got to be special and they got to win. Like he got to
Got to
be
stomp him
Lamar.
out. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So what they won 41 to 31. They look amazing. Look how they researched. Derrick Henry looks. He don't even look old in this. I had nothing but questions about how this roster was constructed and how it was going to flow and how it was going to work in the offseason. Man, has that worked out very well. And it looks like, well, if this is how it's going to go, then you really can't stop them. You got to go there. You got to beat the Chiefs.
We all know the Chiefs are at the top. Like, you know what I mean? Until you beat them, that's just who it is. Until they're sitting at home on Sunday in January, it don't matter.
And I think if anybody else beats, like if like Lamar can go to and win the Super Bowl, if he don't beat the Chiefs, it still is going to be a if.
Yeah.
He gotta go beat them. Like
It's
it's
like
like he's
like
got to go
they
beat
play
them.
the Bills and they Bills beat them, and then they beat them in the AFC Championship. You're absolutely right.
He got
People are
to
like,
beat
yeah,
them.
that's a good ring, but you ain't beat Patrick for it. So
You see what I'm saying? He got to shut some shit up. Like, listen, I'm tired of hearing this man's name. I'm tired of hearing this motherfucker. I digress though, because we have to wait and see for all of that. See, I'm growing. You see what I'm saying? I'm working on getting too ahead of myself with stuff. You see? Okay. So with that said, I think let's just jump right into the week 8 game so that we can keep more time for the MVP candidates. 'Cause I'm very curious about the conversation that could happen there. All right. Eagles versus Bengals, and a very interesting game in my opinion. Who do you have?
um Eagles, I think they are. I think this last game against the Giants, they're figuring it out. They're realizing we gotta run through Saquon
Mm-hmm.
instead of him just being a piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's Jalen and them. You understand? We got to go through Saquon. We got to hand him the ball. We got to hit him in the flats. We got to use him as misdirection
Mm-hmm.
up
Mm-hmm.
top to AJ Brown. I think this game showed them the identity they need to have to be successful. And as far as the Bengals, lights out offense. I think they're first in almost every statistical category as far as offense.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't put a game together and get a dub.
And you listen, you ain't wrong about that.
You know what I mean? Like
Um,
they put up 40 on you, but they'll lose 41-40. It's so weird.
hmm Okay, so this is kind of my last guess for the Bengals. Do I think so? If everybody's plays perfect, I think the Eagles would win. What I don't like about the Eagles is the relationship between Jalen Hurts and Nick
Hurts and
Sirianni.
coach, yeah.
It's very clear that there's a problem there. It's very clear that there's a philosophy problem, and it's very clear that they don't like each other. And Jalen Hurts is doing his best to be as politically correct as possible, but he's basically like, nah, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Um, with that said, Um, I think the Bengals are going to start to get it together. They're a team that I still put back into the playoffs, and I'm not ready to write them out yet. However, at home, if the Eagles come in, yeah, I mean 3-5, that'll be hard to come back from. But I'm thinking they're going to take this one.
Yeah, I like the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals. All right, Texans Colts. With my Colts.
Is it Colts at home?
No, it's in Houston.
Yeah, Texans.
I'm taking my Colts. I think they beat us already. It's hard to sweep a team. Um, I think our defense has been actually been playing better, and we're getting healthier. Um,
Oh, they the defense. I got one question mark on the whole Colts team, and he touches the ball more than everybody.
nigga, let me tell you
I've
why
had
this gives
listen,
him.
I've had my concerns and my criticism of him since Florida.
He
And I
has
don't know
not.
why
He
they
has not
drafted
put
him number
anything.
5.
16 points. 16 points against Miami, and they got nothing to play for, and they're 1-5 is outlandish. And yeah, I I agree with you. I don't have this is more of a hope. So my first two picks here were definitely more on hope than logic. The Bengals and my Colts. I hope we play right. You know
We
what I
gonna
mean?
see.
We'll see, but you know what I mean. I think Anthony Richardson. Yeah, they just gotta. But not Nick Sirianni, excuse me. Shane Steichen's got to do a much better job of gameplay. Like game plan, his game plan has sucked. He's looked at him and said, "Save me," and he's basically still a rookie. So I hate that game plan. If you ain't
Yeah.
special like that, and he's special in ways, but he's not special like carry me as a rookie. He's just not.
No.
And I think his game plan got to be better. And if it is, once again, we're a scary team. All
That's
right.
what I'm saying. That is my only question. They have a good defense. Offensive line is stacked. They got wide receivers. They got running backs. It's it's the one question mark is that the quarterback. It's almost
Mhm.
like I hate to say it, but like, hey Flacco, come on, man, let's
We
win some
clearly could
games.
win more with Flacco. And that's the problem. That's the irritating thing. Because I know we could win more with Joe Flacco. I know that.
Yeah.
But we can't. But we have a ceiling, and we're a second round team with Joe Flacco. With
Oh, you're
Anthony
done.
Richardson,
Yeah.
if he can bridge that gap,
Sky's the limit.
you
He is
see,
that talent. Like he is that physically gifted. It's just something. To your point, he's still a rookie. Let's just keep it like that.
I
In
just
a
want
lot of
the, I
ways,
just
he's still
want
a rookie.
like more than anything, I really that's why I say part of it is really not him. I really would just want Shane Steichen to identify Jonathan Taylor as the best player on our team and use and run our offense through him.
Like
That
I said with
would solve
Saquon and the Eagles.
all of this. All of this would go away. Let him throw the ball 15 times, not 30.
Yeah, you're not winning with Anthony Richards throwing 30 plus times.
We're not going to win. You see? You see? So, whatever. All right. Falcons Bucks.
If up until last night's game, I would have said Bucks. But because they lost their 2 top wide receivers, I gotta go Falcons.
Yeah, yeah. I was so when I wrote this to you, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a pretty decent game." 'Cause I expected both of them to come off of loss and stuff, but yeah, the Falcons are going to win this. We ain't got to spend too much time on this.
Like you lost both your receivers in one game. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yep, yep. You ever see that baby? Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Bills, Seahawks. Which could
Same
be
thing. The Bills, I think Amari is fitting in nicely next to Keon Coleman,
Mhm.
and the Seahawks will be without DK, the man we just gave all that praise to.
Okay, so I actually think the Bills are gonna win this game by like 10. Um,
If not more. Like,
yeah. I think the Bills are too physically in the trenches, too physical in the trenches, and I think that's going to show itself. There's
oh,
clearly a lot of
their running back room is stacked.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's what you need to go on the road anyway. So to win on the road, you need that. So their philosophy has changed from why, excuse me for scratching like I'm on crack or something. Um they they've switched their philosophy from pass heavy wide receivers to running physical check downs, get first downs, let Josh Allen be physical and control the tempo, which I love that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think he's decisively a lot better than Gino, and I think that's gonna show up too. So yeah. So if you're watching this in sports betting world, I'd go with the Bills on this one. And I'm not even sure what the
Yeah.
spread is, but I'm sure it's gonna be around like 2 or 3 points, and I think they're gonna win by like 10.
At least a touchdown. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bears and Commanders, which I was if you'd have told me at this point that this would have been a name state game, I'm really excited for this game, bro. I can't wait to watch this game. So what's gonna happen? I know it's your Bears and everything, but
Oh, they're gonna win. I
but
just
you
wanted
saying that
them
you
to.
said that too quick. You said that because you like them. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't
I,
objective. That wasn't an objective. Yes.
I'm saying it because I watched every game of every season for the last 20 years, and this is the first time in week six, or I'm sorry, week seven. I got hope. I got a top five defense again, like it's
Mm-hmm.
2018,
Mm-hmm.
2006 type defense that went to the Super Bowl. And I have a quarterback, even as a rookie, who's more competent than every quarterback we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I no disrespect to Justin Fields. I think he got screwed over in Pittsburgh. I think he should still be starting, but it didn't work here. It's working with Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
You
At
know what I'm
first it
saying?
wasn't, but now it is.
Those first
Now
two
it is.
weeks, no. Being 1-1, I'm like, okay, it's kind of iffy. But ever since then, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking what the defense gives him. And then every now and then, that little bit of USC athleticism pops out. And you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm. That
okay, okay.
little Reggie Bush, the spirit of Reggie Bush pops out and be like, that's
You know what I'm saying?
the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Right. Like, that's a heck of a throw. That's a heck of a play. And like I said, with the defense we have, like, I'm happy to go up against a lot of. That's what I was saying. We finally get a team that I can be proud of, and the NFC North is a gauntlet. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
But
yeah.
these are the games, especially in the NFC, we gotta win.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta win.
Yeah.
And if
So
Jaden's not playing, I'm saying I wanted Jaden to play because
yeah.
they're going 1-for-1 for the rookie of the year stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they're saying he's probably out. But then
We'll see.
my que- we'll see. But my question comes to this: he went out in the first quarter last game, and Marcus Mariota comes in. No disrespect to the Heisman Trophy winner himself, but he also was putting up numbers like
Mhm.
he's a future MVP. So is it the player or the system?
A little bit of both. Like I think they're smartly like, all right. So if you go look at a rookie and say, all right, I'm gonna put the ball in your hands, you gotta play to their strengths. Marcus Mariota and Jay Daniels have the same strengths. Like a quarterback or not a quarterback, a head coach has to play to that. This is absolutely lucky. So I think this is actually lined up pretty nicely for them. But it's both. I do think Jaden Daniels is special, more special than Marcus
Oh,
Mariota.
I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I think Jay
Um,
Daniel has incredible talent. And if he can start getting down and stop taking some hits, I
mhm.
think he got a long, prosperous career in front of him.
But
You know what I mean?
yeah, so I did want to say this though before we wrap this up. I still think there's a lane for the Bears to come out of the NFC. I'm not overly confident about it. Don't get ahead of yourself. But I do think there's a lane there if you could just get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I see them as a playoff team. Like I said, there's going to be three teams that come out of NFC North, and I think the Bears are one of them.
It might have to. It might have to be four.
Listen, listen, they're stacked, dude. They've lost like four games outside of two games outside of the division. That's
Cool.
it.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up and we're gonna get back to the next segment in probably like 5 minutes. Okay, we get Commanders and Bears. I picked the Bears too. We both picked the Bears there, but only because Jay Daniels isn't playing. But but don't be. I wouldn't be shocked if you dropped this game. I just want to pre-warn you. I would not be shocked. That's a whole nother conversation. All right. So now Cowboys versus the 49ers. What's go- what's going to happen here?
It's difficult because the Cowboys are so dysfunctional,
Uh-huh.
but they are undefeated on the road,
Uh-huh.
and the Niners are missing so many pieces. I'm gonna go Cowboys, but
Mm-hmm.
like it's like you said with the Bengals and stuff, it's kind of a hope type situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not confident in that just because like the Cowboys organization, top to bottom right now, feels completely dysfunctional. And then like we just said earlier with the 49ers, everybody and their mama hurt. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
But the boys are undefeated on the road. If it was at home, I would have gone 49ers
Mm-hmm.
because something about them playing in Dallas right now is not they're not very good.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go Dallas with this one.
Okay. So I'm actually a little bit more confident in it, but I'm going Cowboys, and I'm going confidently for everything that you have just said. Brock Purdy got to pick some shit up, unfortunately, and you have to now rely on him to pick it up. And once again, if you pay him, this is pretty much what your team supposed is going to look like anyway. So if you ain't that confident in it, um, which I'm not, um, then yeah, I'm looking at the Cowboys to I mean it might be 16-10, you know? that
Oh,
might
yeah, they're
that
not blowing
that might be
nobody
the
out on the
score.
road.
That
All
might
their
be the score.
all their road wins are like 7 points, 12 points. Like it's not blowouts, but they win on
Yeah,
the
no,
road.
no, like the
So
Cowboys aren't really I know they're undefeated on the road, but like long term they're not built to go on the road. So that's
they got no running backs.
right, exactly. With that said, if Cowboys end up losing this game, I don't want to hear about the Cowboys anymore. Like if the Cowboys lose this game, I don't want to talk about them no more.
I agree. Unfortunately, they still will.
I don't want to talk about them no more if they don't win this game. So, with that said, we got to get to the MVP candidates. Oh, so I did say this. So once again, Jamal was on last week, and believe it or not, the motherfucker did pick all the games correctly. So Jamal, if you're watching this, and you can see he says witness now to say, if you're watching this, listen, man, you picked all the games. You know, I don't know what else to say. All right, don't text me no more about this though. Don't text me no more about this. But he picked every single game last week, and that's pretty impressive.
Man, it's 16 games, man. That's not bad.
uh, and if he only put some money where his mouth, never mind. Let's just move on to
$10 will change the world.
okay. Um, so I'll actually give you my top five MVP candidates.
Okay.
Because I think I have them a little bit more in order. So for me, at number, it's because some of my picks though, you just got to understand like where it is. I mean, because we're only halfway through the season, so you got to understand why. So number five, I have Sam Darnold. I I know. Trust me, I know. But they're overachieving. You know what I mean? They were undefeated. They lost one game and they stormed back and they still showed a lot of reliance. For me, what is driving that? You know what I mean? That vehicle to do that. Like, do I think that they only lose one game if the JJ McCarthy was actually starting? Absolutely, positively not. I think it is because of him exactly that. It's because of him that they actually have like the second best record in the NFL and still the best record or tied for the best record in the NFC.
Yeah.
So so I got Sam Darnold at five. Number four, I have I want to make sure I had it in order. So number four, I have Derrick Henry. The shift that I saw with the Baltimore Ravens, of course, Lamar is phenomenal, and it could easily beat Lamar. And the first two games they were 1-1. They didn't look that impressive, and it really wasn't until like game I would say four that they really started to look really impressive. And the shift was something that I didn't think they were going to do. The Ravens I'm talking about, they took Derrick Henry from being just a shotgun running back and did more pistol stuff. Lamar adjusted his whole game to being under center, pistol, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And I loved it, and even coming into the season, I thought that they would struggle with that, which is why I didn't look at them as high as they clearly are. I likened him. I likened Derrick Henry in the situation to um crap. Oh, I had his name and I can't think of it. What was Dallas's running back? It was Dak's best season, and he was a downhill runner. DeMarco Murray. I likened it to DeMarco Murray when he was with Dallas. He was a downhill runner. He affected the game so heavily, and then he got to Philly, and y'all put him and the Philly put him in a shotgun, and he was a different running back, and it never clicked. So
Yeah.
I thought that was what was going to happen with Derrick Henry, but they've adjusted, and I think it's changed the tune and the fear that you have playing the Ravens again. So I got Derrick Henry number 4. Number 3, I have I have Josh Allen. He's going to be top 5 at the beginning of the season. I predicted him being the MVP of the league. They're running away with they pretty much have already ran away with the AFC East. It's
Yeah.
not close. It's not close, and that division is pretty much over. It'll probably be over in the next like 2 or 3 weeks. Um, but Derrick Henry, but Josh Allen, um, he's a lot to do with it. They lost a lot of pieces, and he is still the engine that is moving this. So Josh Allen is still there for me. Um, Heading into my number 2 spot. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back with Lamar. Lamar is my number 2. Um, it looks easy and it doesn't look like it has an end. I have one question for him. Can you go in and beat um can you go in and beat Kansas City? That's my question for Lamar Jackson. And my number 1 is actually and right now, you're not gonna love this. It's Patrick Mahomes. That's my MVP still, even with his numbers looking like they are, even with the interceptions and all that, because they are undefeated. And I promise you, you take him off of this team, they are a 1-win team,
Yeah. If any. Yeah.
if any, and they're undefeated. So I know the piece. It doesn't look as shiny and pretty as Lamar Jackson. Trust me, I understand that. Or other picks, but if you take that away, he is the MVP. You know what I mean? Like he's the most valuable. If you take him away, the Chiefs are going to be a lottery team. So that's my top 5 right there.
Okay. Okay. Mine is got some similar people in different spots. I think I'm gonna go the other direction. My number one was Lamar.
I get that. I get that.
I mean, like I've been to your point. Yeah, you still got to go beat the man to be the man. That's what
Absolutely.
they, that's what they say. To be
Mhm.
the man, you got to beat the man. You ain't beat him yet. After that, similar to your number 5, you're going to be shocked. Jared Goff.
Not shocked. Not necessarily agree, but not shocked. Continue.
He's play. I mean, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do:
Hmm.
get the ball to the athletes and not turn the ball over. And if you do that enough, if you're going to give Brock Purdy that same kind of love last year, Jared can get it this year. You know.
Hmm.
After that, I got Mahomes for the reasons you said. Like they probably wouldn't have any wins without him. Even though they're not
Hmm.
very impressive right now, they don't look very good. They ain't blown nobody out, but they undefeated. Then I got Josh Allen, who I seriously think Amari Cooper is about to take them to another level as far as the offense, because that gives
Absolutely.
them another veteran weapon that they lost in Stephon Diggs that they
Hmm.
haven't had in the first 6 7 weeks.
Hmm.
After that, my number 5. I know that you're gonna be like that sounds lazy, but dude, pick a quarterback from a 5-2 team right now. There's your number 5.
So I did have an honorable mention of CJ Stroud and more. So like when you said Jared Goff, I would put CJ Stroud above Jared Goff. Um, and that has more to do with I feel as though um as crazy as it sounds, because I know CJ has a lot of help, but I do think the system is more dependent on CJ being great, and I think not only does Jared Goff have help, but a system that is not dependent on him being great for them to be great.
Their quarterback position is plug and play for sure.
Yeah. So
My
that's
my
why I
my,
said
my sleeper was Derrick Henry,
I get
just
that.
because the MVP never goes to a running back anymore. You know what I mean? Like the last one was what? What was what's his
That
name from the
running back,
Chargers?
running
Yeah,
back that won MVP. I think it was Adrian Peterson.
yeah. It was either AP or your boy from the Chargers,
Was it Daniel
Danian.
Johnson?
Yeah,
But
one of those
AP,
two.
yeah, I think it was AP, and I'm pretty sure it was AP the year. I think it was one of the years. Did he have a co with Peyton? I think he had a co, because I think Peyton had two co MVPs, if I'm not mistaken. I know he had one with Steve McNair, and then I think the other one was with Adrian Peterson.
I remember the Steve McNair one. Yeah, AP in 2012.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's 12 years ago since a running back's gotten it. It's
hmm
become a quarterback award, just like the Heisman Trophy in college.
hmm
McCaffrey was up there in that conversation this year, but he ain't played a game. And at this point, unless
yeah.
he came back and ran for 250 a game, it
That
ain't
ship has
happening.
sailed. That ship has sailed. um, no, but like I'm telling you, like, and the only reason, all right, to be honest with you, the only reason I didn't put um Jordan Love in there is because they actually beat somebody without him. They beat my Colts without him.
Malik came in and won 2 games without him.
Yeah. So was it two?
Yeah,
Okay. So like I said, that's the only reason. But Jordan Love, I think, is playing tremendous, and I think
that's why I said my number 5 spot is literally
just pick a.
take a team that's 5-2 or 6-1 right now, and their quarterback can be in that fifth spot.
All
The
right.
way
So
the
hold
season
on,
so far.
hold on. But your Bears lost 2 games. Is Caleb in this conversation?
No, not yet.
Okay. I'll just check it. I'll just check it.
I'm not going to do what the media's doing. I mean, you heard them. They're putting Jay. They had Jay Daniels winning Rookie of the Year and MVP in Week 3. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
Like,
mean, he was doing stuff that he threw for 82% completion percentage. I mean, all right. So normally I would be right there with you, but if you're gonna do something that spectacular, 82%, bro,
I'm
82%
not gonna shit. I'm not gonna shit on the man, but he is a one read quarterback.
out of 10 passes, he was completing between 8 and 9 of them, no matter what
Yeah,
the situation was.
but I'm saying he's a one read quarterback.
That play to his strengths, which you know what I mean? Like I'm cool. So if you play to hit, all I'm saying is if you play to his strengths, you might get 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10 passes completed, which is unheard of.
Oh, I think he's a phenomenal. Again, like I said, I think he's a phenomenal
So that's
quarterback.
all I'm
He's
saying. So
got
I
a
agree. I agree with what you're saying. The limitations. You're saying the ceiling is still lower, and he has developed a lot as a passer. That's true. This is a situation I think more than one thing is true at the same time. He
yeah.
needs to develop more as a passer, a lot more as a passer. With that said, playing to his strengths, the 82%,
Well, as
what he
to your
should.
point, as a coach, you have to play to their strengths to keep your job.
Mm-hmm.
They're not firing the brand new rookie. They just signed for 30 mil. They're gonna fire you. So play to his strengths. And if it's one reads, if it's drop offs, if it's slants, whatever it is,
Listen,
run with it.
I wish Shane Steichen would take some notes and be like, "Oh, that's what you do with the rookie quarterback," and just play to his strengths and don't ask him to do nothing else. He's asking him to be a developed passer right now. And did you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if he
He's
was,
like, go out there and be Peyton Manning. Like, I'm sorry, what?
that's not who this is. Do you get that? You should ask him to be Jalen Hurts. Ask him to go be Jay Daniels. Shit. So
Because
that's it.
honestly, they don't do enough read options for me with him and Jonathan Taylor.
I'm trying to tell you, they do not identify Jonathan Taylor as the best player on our team, and Jonathan Taylor is the best player on the
On the
Indianapolis.
team. Yeah.
That's the
And
problem.
you have an offensive line. That's the thing. He's never getting like no. He doesn't have any time to do anything. He has all the time in the world. He's still throwing picks and overthrowing people and stuff.
Because they're asking him to do. dig routes and then hit flag routes and then hit post routes and then hit comeback routes and then use his eyes to bring the
The safety
the
over,
yeah, the
and
safety
then
over and then hit it and then bring the linebacker up and then hit the cover two seam. Like they're asking him to be like complex, and I'm like, what are you doing? That's why that's the one thing that I'm saying about Anthony Richardson. I'm like, that's not his fault though. If you just can't do that, you can't be
they
mad at
need
somebody who
to
just can't do that.
they need to start just scripting his first 20 plays.
You never got mad at Tom Brady for not being able to run a 4-3. You never got mad at that because it's not what he can do. Don't ask him to do stuff he can't. I don't understand. Like, bro, we need to get in the NFL because we need to be coaching in the NFL because we get paid a lot of money because I this ain't that complicated.
It doesn't seem like it's that complicated. Like, okay, I got a big quarterback who can run and has a strong arm, but his accuracy and touch is not that great. Okay, cool. So I'm going to simplify the playbook to 15, 20 plays to start the game with. And if I can get him in a rhythm, all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, you know what I'm saying? I can add a little more. But if the first 10 plays are incompletions and turnovers,
I would never ask him. I'm saying like last year, this year, and like next year. I would never ask him to make more than two reads. If it ain't there in two reads, take the fuck off. Okay,
go
that's
get me
what you
five
do.
yards and slide.
And on that, I'm only like you only gonna throw the ball about 15 times this game.
And that's the thing. You keep Jonathan Taylor in the flats if he's not back there blocking, or
Mhm.
you use him as a chip block and then send him to the flat, and you
And
keep
play
you
action
and you
pad.
and you keep that tight end either in your seams or coming across so that you have something to dump it to at all times. Those are your outlets. If you read, nope. All right, Jonathan, go.
Hmm. Hmm.
Read. Okay, tight end, go. Like
Hmm.
simple. And people will be like, oh, all he ever does is throw to his tight end. So did Brady. So does Mahomes. So do plenty of guys.
If you hand the ball off, it won't matter.
That too. With that line they have, run the ball.
If
I don't know
you
what their
run
offense
the
coordinator is
ball,
thinking.
the safeties are going to come up and they're going to have to take away those routes. Then, okay, now
You
your
can
two
get behind
routes.
them. Now you can get behind
Now
them.
we're going to max protect. Now we're going to play action. We're going to max protect for you. Give it a chance to get open. And now,
And you got some speed. You got people with some speed.
God damn it, Daniel.
You can launch it 70, 80 yards in the air.
God damn it, Daniel. What the hell did it? We doing the wrong things, bro. Don't worry. We're going to make money off this podcast and others. But God damn it, we it took us too long to figure this out, man. We could have been making a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe it. All right. Well, it is getting late. Great to hear. Great to hear your predictions, bro. Great to see you again, man. You got anything lined up? What you got going on coming up?
Nothing on the horizon right now. We've next 3 months are kind of lockdown months.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to go into 2025. We got some playing ins in the works, family wise.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get some things, you know, tightened up before the year ends, essentially.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. Staying focused. Listen, man.
Yeah,
I've been seeing what Casey been doing.
so
You tell her
that's the biggest part of it. Is like she's keeps elevating. You
she's
know what I
taking
mean?
off. She's
And so
incredible.
like she's always coming to me like telling me 20 different things she's doing, and she's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I beat this video game yesterday, and that shit was hard." And
Tell you
it's
something,
I had
Mumra was giving me a run for my money for a minute. You heard?
Hey, this boss was working me for like days, right, baby? And here's the thing. She get into it with me, like, what happened? I'm like, okay, look.
Do you see? What?
And then you know what I'm saying? She like it's a beautiful thing, really.
That's good, man. You tell her I said what's up.
Cool too.
So, once again, you can catch the full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Catch the reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Oh, and I gotta put you in, bro, on the new Cause You Don't Know Football Facebook group.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so we just started it, and we're just inviting people and just talking football shit. You know what I'm saying? Same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, love it.
You know what I mean? So with that said, man, first of all, this is the hardest part for me, It's the hardest part. I respect you. You see, I respect you. You see, but unfortunately, I got to tell you too, cuz you don't know football. Daniel, I appreciate you always coming in. Don't stay away too long, man.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, just like Martin said, I'm gonna see you when I see you. Peace.
So yeah.